Oh, are we good? Okay. I call to order the July Ways and Means Committee meeting. Roll call, please. Here.
Chairman Sims, uh, Alderman Shelton,
Here.
Alderwoman Tice,
Here.
Alderman Gould is absent.
Item number 2 on the agenda is approval or amendment of the agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the agenda? Are there any changes or amendments to be made? Any objection to approving by acclamation? All right, that'll stand approved. Item number 3, there are no announcements, appointments, proclamations, or recognitions. Item 4, report of committee chair and alderman. I have no report. Alderman Shelton,
The report.
Alderwoman Parker Tice.
No report.
Item number 5 is the city administrator's report. Paula?
I'm happy to report that we have filled the finance director position, and we have with us this evening Robin Jones, who's sitting at the back. And Robin is a career accounting and finance professional specializing in governmental, federal grants, and not-for-profit organizations. She spent over 8 years managing and operating a major regional transportation hub, various federally funded residential properties, and was the fiscal manager for the City of St. Louis Health Department, which received 50% of its operating budget through federal grants. Robin is a 2001 graduate of Fontbonne University with a bachelor's degree. She also graduated with a master's of business degree from Fontbonne in 2002 and is currently scheduled to complete her master's of accountancy the fall of this year. Her first day with the city was June 28th, is that correct? So, happy to welcome
That's
Robin
wonderful.
on board.
Welcome aboard. We're glad you're here.
That's my report.
That's your report? All right, thank you. Item 6, financial report. 6A of the economic development sales tax, use tax, and all funds financial statements. Who is?
So Robin
Reading
will
that
be presenting that tonight.
Come forward.
If you've had an opportunity to refresh your board docs, we have an attachment titled General Fund 7/15/2021. If you want to read along with Robin as she presents this. It's a similar narrative that we've uploaded in board docs. This time it's just its own document. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, is your microphone on?
I'm not.
It,
Oh, I'm
There you go.
sorry.
You can
move it.
Kind of short. Let me pull it down. I apologize. So the sales tax, municipal fire sales tax, and county public safety tax, the proceeds collected through the current period is slightly higher, 1%, over the same time last year. So we're talking about May 2020 of last year compared to May 2021 of this year. Once again, for this month, the usual top 10 sales taxpayers' returns were not processed by the Missouri Department of Revenue during the month of May. We have since learned that this is the case also for the month of June. Therefore, this should result in a substantial month either next month or the month after when the Missouri Department of Revenue catches up on processing returns. County public safety sales tax is 20% higher than the same time last year, and municipal fire sales tax is slightly less than the same time last year. State motor fuel tax is 8% higher than the same time last year. Are there any questions about that item?
I have a question, and I'm newer, so the delay. I know there's normally a delay. Is this longer than usual, or is that about the same?
It's longer than usual.
Is that
It's been over 2 months now. And this report comes to us from Dan Cook, who has been helping the city for, I'd say, at least 6 years. Also audit our sales tax proceeds for all the TIF districts, just to make sure that all the retailers are remitting the proper sales tax to the city and not to another city. So he's the one that shares this with us, that there's a trend, and he has contacted the Department of Revenue on the city's behalf. And they just say, we just need to wait.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. I should have asked for permission.
You're fine.
Okay. Next item is franchise taxes, which are utilities, including cable, gas, telephone, water, and electricity. Major of these utilities have experienced a decrease over the same time last year. And what we know is that because there are other avenues for TV entertainment, which include a lot of the popular streaming services such as Amazon Fire Stick, YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, a lot of users may choose to watch cable and traditional avenues, but we're experiencing a decline in revenue. Gas and electric revenue is based on use, and so since we didn't have a particularly cold winter, nor has it been a very hot summer where we see triple-digit temperatures, and furthermore, we're just starting our summer season this year. So we have a somewhat of a slight drop of about 18,000 versus the 2020 numbers. CARES Act, St. Louis County Intergovernmental, half of the monies was received in 2020 and the balance in 2021. Excuse me, ambulance fees, slightly less than last year. We believe there is a lag in reporting and booking the revenue. Permits, building permits, occupancy permit, building permit, fire, electrical permits, plumbing permits. In fiscal 2020, when the majority of us were working from home, we saw a significant increase in building permits. Many home improvement projects were undertaken, hence the percentage decrease over time, over the same time last year. A majority of us have returned to work now. During this time, there has been an uptick in the number of occupancy permits processed by the Planning and Development Department. The year is still young, so it is too early to predict what the summer months and early fall will look like. Fines, there has been an increase over the same time last year. Sales tax are slightly higher than the same time last year. Sale of city property. Sale of city property when we purchase new vehicles, for instance. As a matter of policy and practice, these items are sold on Gov Deals. Interest income, short-term rates remain at 0 or above 1%. Room rentals. Other than room rentals, we are seeing a significant increase in recreation fee proceeds over same time last year. Things are beginning to open up and everyone, for the most part, resuming their daily lives, due to the explanation of the COVID-19 restrictions being lifted. Dog park membership. Membership data was shared with the Board of Aldermen last week. Membership has declined slightly. This can be attributed to the fact that the temporary dog park in Northwest Park was removed at the end of last year. Rink fee, ice rink rental, admission fees have increased significantly over the same time last year. The explanation is due to the COVID-19 restrictions. So moving on into capital improvement. Sales tax, slightly higher, 2% than the same time last year. Sewer assessments. The proceeds are received as taxes are paid by property owners. A majority of the proceeds are received at the end of the year. So those will be reported later on this year. Expenditures, general fund. Most departments have spent approximately 40% of their operating budget. This is appropriate given we are 5 months into the new fiscal year as of this income statement. So we're talking January through May of this year. Use tax. The city received its first use tax payment from the state on March 5th, 2021. the second on April 4th, 2021, and the third on May 5th, 2021. The city has received 3 checks so far, which equal a total of $127,417.38. The amount for the month of May was fairly close to the previous month's collection. Especially with the volume of fillers, we would expect a pattern to develop over the next couple of months. If you remember, we were told that the use tax proceeds would be remitted to the municipality after each quarter, even though we have received checks for 3 consecutive months. Collections started January 1, 2021. We do not have sufficient data yet to say what the trends will be for this tax. However, it does appear to us that some prominent national retailers are still not paying this tax. We want to believe that once Governor Parsons signs the Wayfarer bill, the Missouri Department of Revenue will have to become involved and send notice to all national retailers. If this pattern ultimately makes us question either the volume of fillers or the magnitude of the taxes distributed, then at that point, a conversation with the Missouri Department of Revenue would be warranted. We want to wait another few months to get a good feel of all those who will be filling a use tax report. 1% goes to the Missouri Department of Revenue, 15% goes to St. Louis County government, 85% is kept by the city of Brentwood. Economic development sales tax. We are at 41%, 42% if you round it up, May 2021 of the fiscal year, and have collected 58%, $1,344,365 of the revenue for the economic development tax in comparison to the same time last year when we had only $610,270 of the budgeted revenues. $3.2 million is budgeted in the fiscal 2021 budget. The debt service payment and interest and fiscal charges for the 2019 COP is $2,573,850. The debt services paid from the EDST proceeds remaining to pay the debt service payment is $1,855,749. That concludes the report. Are there any questions?
And we know that the state, their software system is antiquated, so they have to budget to update their software. So we're being told that this will most likely not be implemented until 2022. So we won't be able to rely on their assistance until then. But the good news, in particular to the use tax, and this also comes from Dan Cook, we were somewhat conservative in what we budgeted, $295,000, and we expect that once the city receives the proceeds for the month of June, we should have collected at least $272,000. So the anecdotal stories that we heard that most likely we will collect significantly more than this, it's looking like that will truly happen. So we're keeping our fingers crossed and making sure that, we continue to monitor it, and it'll be good news. And, the board has not directed staff to spend this money, so it's just still coming in, and we're setting it aside in the budget.
That's great news. I had just a couple questions regarding the economic developed sales tax. Based upon my back of the envelope math, it looks like we're trending in the right direction.
Yes.
We're trending at least to what we've budgeted, and I don't have I won't look into a crystal ball, but maybe we might even collect a little more than that. I'm just based on the numbers. So
You're
it's
right. It's,
performing
you look
well.
back to 20, it wasn't good news for us. because of everything that happened with COVID. So things are looking really great. And if you remember, I think at the direction of this committee, we sent out letters to all the retailers that the city does have this tax. You need to start collecting it. So I am looking for when the state is ready that they will also help us in that effort so that those who still are out there that aren't aware that they need to pay, start to pay.
And I never want to miss an opportunity to highlight our sales tax revenue. It looks like, I mean, we're trending higher than we were last year, and I would certainly hope,
Yes.
given the way things have changed, but in general, we're looking good, right? I mean, because we
Looking
luckily didn't see much of a dip last year.
That's
and
right.
And we're even higher than we were now than we were. Is that, I want to circle that, underline it, and highlight it for those listening.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. That
Okay.
is true.
Are there any other questions? Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to, let's see, item 6B of the agenda is the fiscal year 2020 audit update. Who's got that?
Right, so we are still working on the audit. It is not complete. This is for the 2020 year. Rana Alvarez, the board approved a contract with her to help us in that effort, and the work continues. Last week, we had the auditors here in the city over 2 days, and they were doing testing of a number of different things, credit cards. They were reviewing all the city's legal invoices for the 2020 fiscal year. They were doing traffic ticket testing and journal entry testing. They have since provided us with what is called a final year-end audit request, most of which we have already, but they want us to make sure we compile all of this so that they can come in and just finish the rest of the audit. So I think we are closer to getting it done, but there's still some things that we have to do. And I think with Robin on staff now, and if you remember, the board also approved a contract for Gina Jarvis to assist us. There is a full-time position for an assistant director in the budget. Gina has agreed to stay on to help the city in a part-time capacity. She feels that, and I think we all agree, that right now there is no need for the city to incur the cost of a full-time position, that the work can be done in a part-time status. If you recall, Gina was the city's former finance director, and she has had experience managing, I believe it's the second largest city in the state of Washington. So, and was the former finance director for City of St. Charles. So we're very lucky I'm very lucky to have Gina also continue to assist us and help us get back to establishing best practices that we had at one time so that all our reporting are hitting those deadlines like it should be. So that's the update on that.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions? All right, thank you, Bola. The next item, item 7, is the consent agenda. The only item on that agenda would be approval of the minutes from the Ways and Means Committee meeting of April 15th. Have you all had an opportunity to review those? Any changes or amendments to be made? Any objection to approving the minutes by acclamation?
Nope.
Seeing none, all right, it'll be approved. Thank you. Item 8, new business. 8A is destruction of public records. Who's got that?
I can present this? Okay. So you will notice that we have information from 3 departments, court, municipal court, planning development, and I think I may, Parks and Rec. And they itemize all the records that they are seeking permission for destruction. There is a guideline from the Missouri Secretary of State that we would adhere to in terms of the disposition of local government records. So we would present, and there's a guideline that lists what you can dispose of, when you can dispose of, and we are following that guideline, and that's what is being presented to you this evening. So once there's approval from Ways and Means, we will present that to the Board of Aldermen. And we have a contract right now with, what's the name of? Secure Document Destruction. So they will be assisting us, and they'll bring their truck on site, and we just take it out, and then they take it away and destroy all these documents. Approximate cost to do this is $400.
Is there a room in a basement somewhere where there are banker's boxes of old records?
It's upstairs.
Or upstairs?
Yeah. Remember when we used to have the closed session upstairs? That space now, oh my gosh, it's a mess. But it has lots and lots and lots of boxes, and we're hoping that as time allows, that each department will have a chance to go up there and itemize and compare it to the retention schedule, so that we can get rid in a systematic way of more documents that we don't need to keep.
But in any event, the destruction of the documents is in line with whatever applicable
Oh, yeah.
law or
We follow
policies out
state
there.
guidelines, yes.
Sounds good to me. Are there other questions? I guess, seeing no other questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve the disposition of the records listed on Exhibit A of the agenda, and to direct the city administrator to present this to the Board of Aldermen at the July 19, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, does it need to be a voice vote, or can we say aye? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, seeing none. Great. Thank you. 9A, or item on number 9 on the agenda is old business. 9A is continued discussion of request for proposal of insurance services consulting report. Who's got that? Oh, are we sticking with you, Bola? Bola, is your mic on? I can hear you, but
And they gave a report to the committee. However, there were some outstanding items that the committee wanted to discuss further. And at that meeting, we had the city attorney attend the meeting and recommended that if it is the desire of the committee to have a discussion about Slate St. Louis Area Insurance Trust financial statement, that perhaps that should be done in closed session. So that information is in board docs for you this evening. So for further discussion, I would recommend we adjourn the regular meeting, go into closed session for a legal matter.
so would that be what we would do at this point?
Right.
I mean, that was what that meets with my expectation. I don't think that there's probably, that was the main topic of discussion. So
Yeah.
I guess at this point, I would move to go into closed session pursuant to section 610.021 point, or subpart 1. Is that legal?
Yes, yes, it
And
is.
then I guess adjourn the meeting from there. Before doing that, should we, I guess, see if there are any citizen comments?
I forgot, it's not on
Yeah,
there.
I got over my skis, out of practice being in person. Is there anyone in the public who wants to make a comment?
No one has their hand raised at this
Okay,
point.
so I'll repeat what I just said at this point. I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Missouri Statute 610.021 subsection 1, legal, and then to adjourn the meeting from there.
So moved.
Second.
Does that need a voice vote?
Yes.
Okay, so roll call, please.
Oh. I thought it needed a voice. Okay. Chairman Sims.
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Vote of 3-0 to adjourn and move to closed session.
And then we'll adjourn the meeting from there.
Okay.
Thank you. We're gonna go into the vault now. We're gonna
Record.